Welcome back. Right now, Deion Sanders is still in the headlines after he announced that he was in remission from bladder cancer. One thing that helped him through treatment, he says, is the emotional support from survivors. Now, that brings us to two parts of healthcare that are often forgotten: men's health generally and the need for emotional support during treatment. And that's where CanCare comes in. And I'm joined by Darcie Wells, the CEO of CanCare, and also we've got Keith Saathoff, a cancer survivor and a volunteer. Maybe we start with why it would be that men would go through this journey in isolation more often than women. Why would that be the case?
Well, I think that the narrative for men and masculinity as a whole have been told over time that you have to be strong, that you have to be independent, that you have to be stoic as you're going through things in life. I think a lot of men, and myself included, were told as we were growing up, big boys don't cry.
Right.
And so they carry that narrative forward, and I think it is a part of being vulnerable that men don't want to do, and cancer can just knock your feet out from under you.
And so what do you say? Let's say someone listening perhaps is either in the middle of the journey or they know someone, a family member, a friend, who's going through this. How would you recommend supporting men who may be, I don't know, averse to or I don't know, unsure about how to ask for support? Maybe that's the right way to put it.
Seek support. I mean, you can have people that surround you that are family members, work family, people that are encouraging you in your survival and in your battle of cancer, but nothing can replace, I think, a survivor that's been there and done that. I was paired with a survivor that helped me through my own journey 20 years ago, and he was invaluable.
Oh, that's amazing. That is great support. Okay, can I ask you about why you created CanCare in the first place? What's the mission about here?
Absolutely. So for 35 years, CanCare has been providing the emotional support that's so critical to cancer patients in their journey. So science has now caught up with this and says that if you have emotional support and you have hope in your cancer journey, your outcomes are better. And so for 35 years, CanCare has been doing this, really pairing someone facing cancer with a survivor by their side, so they have someone who really understands what they're going through, and they have a safe place to really talk about what's really going on in their journey. Maybe they don't want to burden their family and friends, or they're worried about taking care of the others around them and keeping their spirits up. But this intimate relationship, this confidential relationship, can be a huge support to them.
And it makes so much sense when you say it, and it also makes sense that maybe we wouldn't have recognized what should be more clear. I don't know if obvious is the right word, but something that you said I want to go back to, what research is catching up. So am I hearing you right, that having a survivor by your side, that emotional support, that validation, that companionship, really helps you emotionally, but maybe even physically, like to really be dealing with what you're actually dealing with, your body?
Absolutely. So it's not only just about that person that you can confide in that helps you emotionally, but now science is saying that emotional support and having that help and that hope is really demonstrated in your health outcomes and better health outcomes. And what our volunteers like Keith do now is really provide hope during that cancer journey. You can see someone like Keith who's been 20 years out of his cancer journey and say, wow, that can be me too.
Can you take us through, Keith, if you don't mind, when you first found out that you had cancer, and then what it looked like to go from there to having the emotional support that you needed? I don't know how immediate it was, or if you kind of suffered through a time without emotional support, or what that was like for you.
So initially, I think almost every cancer patient, when you hear those words, you have cancer, it's like a gut punch. It can knock you, to your knees, and it physically did to me when I heard those words in the hospital. And I started treatment immediately, but very soon in that process, while I was still in the hospital for my initial treatment, someone had given my information to CanCare, and I got that call that this guy named Leonard said, "Hey, I'm Leonard, I'm from CanCare, and I'm here to help support you." And it was so helpful in that I had a lot of people that would say, I'm so sorry you're going through this, and the empathy is wonderful. But what was really different about Leonard was when I told him how I was feeling and how frightened I really was, he could every step of the way say, I understand, and I knew he really did. and that made a lot of difference. There were times when I was ready to give up, and I would get this call from Leonard, and he would say, you know, what's going on?
Wow.
And I would say, I just don't want to do this anymore, Leonard. And he taught me, let's take it one day at a time, or let's take it 1 hour at a time. And that really encouraged me and kept me going.
Amazing. Keith, Darcie, thank you so much. If you want to get in touch, I guess you can find you online probably.
Absolutely, cancare.org.
Okay, awesome. Thank you to both of them for coming. Let's get back over to Jen with our breaking news on the roads. Jen.